Mr. Brooks, your blood pressure is at a dangerous level, and you're showing worrying neurological symptoms. You need to be hospitalized immediately, the cleaning woman said firmly, cutting through the billionaire CEO's angry shouting on the phone. Arthur Brooks, 53, owner of a $2 billion pharmaceutical empire, stared at the 42-year-old black woman as if she had just spoken in Chinese. Monica Washington stood there in her uniform, holding cleaning tools, daring to give medical advice to him. "Excuse me," Arthur sneered, lowering the phone. "You're giving me medical advice. What do you do for a living?" "Professional cleaning," she replied dryly, the sarcasm ringing out in the luxurious office on the 30th floor of the Brooks Pharmaceutical Building. Monica had just witnessed Arthur staggering, his hands trembling, his mind confused during a video conference meeting. She recognized the symptoms immediately, but all the executives present ignored them. "Sir, I'm not just a," Monica began, but was cut off. "You're just a cleaner," Arthur bellowed, his face flushed with anger. "Go back to your chemicals and let me work in peace. Next time keep quiet when you're cleaning," he added. What Arthur didn't know was that Monica Washington had been a registered nurse for 15 years before losing everything to a fabricated scandal, an act of cruel racial discrimination that forced her into cleaning to survive. But her medical mind never stopped working. She had noticed the signs weeks ago: slowed coordination, occasional slurred speech, bouts of disorientation Arthur brushed off as mere work stress. All the symptoms point to a serious neurological disease which, if untreated, could be fatal. "I understand perfectly well, Mr. Brooks," Monica said in a chillingly calm tone. "I will continue my work." But while Arthur returned to his multi-million-dollar calls, Monica quietly began taking notes. Every symptom, every episode, every moment, his arrogance overpowered his survival instincts. Arthur Brooks thought he had full control over the company and everyone under him. He didn't know the cleaning woman holding the office's tools carried a secret that could save his life if only he humbled himself enough to listen. Monica silently rearranged her cleaning supplies, her trained eyes still meticulously observing. She knew exactly what was happening to Arthur Brooks. More importantly, she knew what to do about it. If you've ever been underestimated because of your skin color or social status, you'll understand that sometimes the best revenge is being right when everyone else is wrong. Subscribe to learn the story of an overlooked cleaning woman who became the only person capable of saving the man who despised her. 3 days later, Arthur Brooks's condition worsened, but his arrogance tripled. In an executive board meeting, Monica watched him confuse the names of his directors and repeat the same question 3 times within 10 minutes. As she quietly approached to clear the conference table, she overheard troubling snippets of conversation. "Arthur, are you okay? You seem confused today," whispered James Morrison, the CFO, with genuine concern. "Confused?" Arthur snapped, slamming his hand on the table. "I'm perfectly fine. Maybe you can't keep up with my thoughts. I'm always 3 steps ahead of everyone." Monica noticed a slight tremor in his left hand, the way he blinked repeatedly as if trying to focus his vision. Progressive neurological symptoms she had seen many times before while working in the neurology ward at Metropolitan Hospital before her career was destroyed. The scandal had started 5 years ago when Monica, then head of the night shift, publicly questioned Dr. Mitchell Barnes's overprescription of opioids. She proved that black patients were routinely given lower doses of painkillers than white patients with similar conditions, but were more quickly labeled drug addicts. "You're accusing a prominent doctor of racism," hospital director Dr. Patricia Wells asked during a disciplinary meeting. "On what scientific evidence?" "On 15 years of experience and 200 pages of detailed documentation," Monica replied, placing the meticulous research on the table. But the internal investigation was a sham. Dr. Barnes was a close friend of the CEO and a generous hospital benefactor. Instead of reviewing the evidence, they fabricated a different story. Monica was accused of emotional instability and imposing personal racial issues into medicine. The final blow was a false charge of violating drug prescription protocols, unprovable but enough to ruin her career. Within 6 months, she lost her license, reputation, and all hope of returning to healthcare. "People like you always think the world owes you something," Dr. Barnes had said with a fake smile on her last working day. "Maybe it's time you accept that some places aren't meant for you." 5 years later, while cleaning the office of the most powerful man in the pharmaceutical industry, Monica felt a bitter irony. Arthur Brooks owned the company that manufactured the very opioids selectively prescribed by Dr. Barnes. Still here, Arthur's sharp voice snapped her back to the present. The meeting was over, and he looked at her with obvious irritation. How long does it take to clean a table? Sorry, Mr. Brooks. I just wanted to be thorough, he sneered. You're a cleaner, not a surgeon. Speed matters more than perfection in your job. Monica nodded silently, but her trained eyes took note of every detail. Arthur's right pupil was slightly more dilated than the left. His verbal responses had a slight delay. Fine motor skills were clearly impaired, a classic sign of increased intracranial pressure. And one more thing, Arthur continued adjusting his tie with a clumsy motion, uncharacteristic of him. Next time you get the brilliant idea to give me medical advice, remember I pay some of the best doctors in this country. I don't need the opinion of a janitor. His cruel words stabbed deeply, but Monica kept her face calm. She had learned to endure humiliation without reacting, a skill honed through years of systemic discrimination. I understand perfectly, sir, she replied, beginning to pack up her cleaning supplies. But as she left the office, Monica made a decision. That night in her small apartment, she opened her laptop and started typing. Not an official medical report, she no longer had a license, but a detailed anonymous letter addressed to Arthur's wife, Natasha Brooks. Monica had done her research on the Brooks family. Natasha was a trained nurse, though out of practice for years. She would understand the medical terminology and recognize the severity of the symptoms described. Every word was carefully chosen. Each symptom is documented with precise timing. Every observation is supported by specific behavioral evidence. Monica finished the letter at 3 a.m., reread it 5 times, then slipped it into an unmarked envelope. Arthur Brooks thought he'd silenced yet another lowly person. He had no idea he had just awakened something far more dangerous than his own temper, a nurse sworn to save lives, even when that life belonged to the man who despised her. As Monica sealed the envelope, a cold certainty settled in her chest. She would not let Arthur's arrogance kill him, not because he deserved to live, but because she had vowed to save a life. And some vows transcend the way you're treated by the one you save. The billionaire CEO could not see that every insult only fueled the determination of a woman who had lost everything once, and realized she still had much to give the world if only someone humble enough would listen. The letter reached Natasha Brooks on a quiet Tuesday, delivered discreetly by an anonymous courier. Natasha, a Johns Hopkins nursing graduate, immediately recognized the medical accuracy in the language and the grave seriousness of the observations. Progressive neurological symptoms, impaired motor coordination, transient episodes of confusion, she whispered to herself after reading it for the 3rd time. Every word echoed the worry she had tried to convey to her husband over the past weeks, only to be dismissed with the contempt he reserved for those he deemed beneath him. Natasha knew Arthur was different now. His fits of anger had grown more frequent and irrational. He forgot important appointments, repeated the same stories at dinner parties, and his once perfect handwriting now trembled like that of a man decades older. Who could have written this letter, she wondered, scrutinizing the meticulously documented medical details. Surely someone with formal training, someone who had been closely observing Arthur. Meanwhile, on the 30th floor of Brooks Pharmaceutical, Monica executed her plan with the precision of an experienced nurse. While cleaning, she quietly documented everything: the timing of Arthur's episodes, the intensity of his tremors, the patterns of his mental confusion. She had an unexpected ally, retired neurologist Patricia Williams, who worked part-time as a health insurance consultant in the neighboring building. Monica met Patricia in the parking lot, where Patricia remarked that Monica's cleaning technique betrayed her nursing background. You used to be a nurse, Patricia stated, not as a question, but a fact. For 15 years, Monica admitted she waited for judgment as usual. But Patricia reached out her hand. I practiced neurology for 30 years, and I can still recognize skill when I see it. That chance conversation in the parking lot blossomed into an unlikely partnership. Patricia, a 62-year-old black woman who had faced prejudice in medicine herself, immediately understood when Monica described Arthur's symptoms: brain tumor aneurysm, or a progressive disease like multiple sclerosis. She diagnosed the likely cause over coffee at a street-side cafe. Any of those untreated could be fatal. Have you been carefully documenting everything? Monica handed her the notebook with detailed observations. Patricia nodded in professional acknowledgement. This man should have had a neurological exam weeks ago. His arrogance will kill him. Their plan was simple: gather enough evidence to convince Natasha Brooks to demand a full neurological evaluation. But Arthur made it difficult by denying any problem. Dr. Harrison said I might be overworking. Arthur told Natasha at dinner, not realizing he had referred to a dermatologist as if he were his cardiologist. But I don't trust young doctors. They like to diagnose problems that don't exist. Natasha exchanged a worried glance with their daughter Jessica, a final-year medical student who had also noticed changes in her father. "Dad, when was the last time you had a full health check?" Jessica gently asked. "A sick person's checkup," Arthur replied with growing irritation. "I built a pharmaceutical empire. I know when my body has issues." That same week, a worrying complication occurred. Monica was cleaning the conference room when Arthur walked in, clearly confused. "Where is everyone?" he asked, looking around the empty room. "The meeting was canceled, Mr. Brooks." "You canceled it yesterday," Monica replied gently. Arthur stared at her blankly, as if not recognizing her, despite her cleaning his office every day for the past 2 years. "Who are you?" he asked, a mix of confusion and irritation in his voice. "I'm Monica, the cleaning staff." "Monica," he repeated her name several times as if trying to access a lost memory. "What did you say about doctors before?" In that terrifying moment, Monica saw in Arthur's dilated pupils the same vacant look she had seen in neurological patients she had cared for during her years at the hospital. The person behind those eyes was slowly detaching from reality. "Mr. Brooks, are you feeling okay?" she asked impulsively, forgetting her place. The question seemed to bring him back to himself. "I'm fine," he growled, reverting to his familiar hostile demeanor. "And you have no right to ask personal questions. Get back to work." But Monica had seen enough. That afternoon, she called Dr. Williams. "There isn't much time left," she said. "Today he didn't recognize me for several minutes. This isn't just arrogance, it's active neurological decline." "Then we need to accelerate the plan," Patricia replied. "I'll call Natasha Brooks directly. As a doctor, I can use professional concern as a pretext." That night, while Arthur slept soundly, Natasha noticed another troubling symptom. She received a call from Dr. Williams. "Mrs. Brooks, this is Dr. Patricia Williams, a neurologist. I have concerning information about your husband's symptoms, and I believe he needs immediate neurological evaluation." Natasha held the phone, trembling. "Doctor, I've tried to convince him to get checked, but he refuses to listen. I completely understand. Unfortunately, neurological patients often lose awareness of their own symptoms. This condition is called anosognosia. It's a consequence of the disease." The conversation lasted 40 minutes. When she hung up, Natasha had a plan. The next day, she would do something she never had in 25 years of marriage: confront Arthur publicly in front of the people he respected. She invited the executive board to an informal family meeting to discuss the company's succession plan, but in reality, it was a disguised medical intervention. Monica, quietly cleaning the hallway outside the conference room, overheard Natasha explaining the situation to Jessica and the executives. "My husband is ill, and his refusal to seek treatment not only endangers his life but the future of the company." What none of them knew was that within 24 hours, Arthur Brooks's life would depend entirely on the courage of a cleaning woman he had always regarded as invisible. A woman who, despite all the contempt she had endured, was about to do something that would not only define her character, but might save the very man who had humiliated her most cruelly. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying someone, but saving them, even if they don't deserve it, to prove that your humanity surpasses the cruelty you've endured. But would Arthur's pride allow him to accept help from someone he'd always seen as beneath him? And what happens when saving a life means confronting an entire system that prefers to ignore the wisdom of those it considers worthless? The family intervention took place on a stormy Thursday when Arthur was at his weakest. Natasha had arranged everything with the precision of an experienced nurse. She invited the 5 highest-ranking executives of Brooks Pharmaceutical to a succession planning meeting at the family estate. Arthur descended the stairs slightly unsteady, trying to hide his impaired coordination with deliberately slow movements. The left side of his body was noticeably weak, and his voice occasionally slurred at the end of sentences. "I don't understand why we're discussing succession," he muttered to Natasha, as he fumbled with his tie with trembling fingers. "I'm fully capable of running my company." "Of course," dear Natasha replied, watching him struggle to tie a knot after 3 attempts. "It's just a precautionary plan." In the meeting room, the directors immediately noticed Arthur's changes. James Morrison, the CFO, exchanged worried glances with Sandra Phillips, the operations manager, as Arthur called the marketing director the guy in sales. Dr. Williams, whom Natasha had invited as a medical advisor for the executives, interjected. I've observed some concerning symptoms in previous meetings. Tremors, time, disorientation, impaired coordination. Are you sure he has no issues? Arthur exploded, pounding his fist on the table and knocking over a coffee cup. I'm tired of people without credentials trying to diagnose me. That was the moment everything changed. Arthur tried to stand to prove his perfect health, but his legs gave out completely. He collapsed back into his chair, the left side of his face beginning to twitch uncontrollably. His eyes glazed over as he struggled to speak. I'm not wearing, he stammered, his right hand trembling violently as he reached for a glass of water. Natasha immediately called 911, but it was Dr. Williams who took control of the situation. Acute neurological symptoms, possible stroke or secondary seizure. Immediate hospital transfer required. While waiting for the ambulance, an unexpected call came through, one Natasha never anticipated. Monica Washington. Mrs. Brooks, this is Monica, your husband's office cleaning staff. I'm calling because you need to know I've been documenting all his symptoms over the past few weeks. Natasha nearly dropped the phone. You're a nurse I used to be, before I was forced into cleaning offices by those who treated me as invisible. The bitterness in Monica's voice was unmistakable. But there was something else too, absolute medical expertise. Your husband shows classic signs of a brain tumor or aneurysm. Progressive symptoms, cognitive decline, unilateral tremors, all detailed in my report. What report? The report I sent to all the company's directors 3 days ago. The same report they ignored simply because it came from a cleaning woman. Natasha felt the blood drain from her face. You sent it to the directors, 47 pages of detailed medical observations with timestamps and precise symptom analysis, even forecasting deterioration if untreated. James Morrison called it employee paranoia, and Sandra Phillips suggested firing me for inappropriate conduct. The revelation hit Natasha like a punch to the gut. As Arthur was loaded into the ambulance, she realized the full irony. The woman her husband despised most was the only one trying to save his life. At the hospital, Dr. Chen's diagnosis confirmed everything Monica had said, a slowly bleeding brain aneurysm causing progressive neurological symptoms. Without intervention that day, it would have ruptured completely within days, certain death. When Arthur awoke after emergency surgery, the first weak words he murmured were, Where's the cleaning lady? Natasha squeezed his hand, still weak from sedation. Monica's in the hallway, dear. She's been waiting for 6 hours. She tried to warn me several times, and you treated her like trash. Arthur closed his eyes, tears streaming down his pale cheeks. I need to talk to her. Monica entered the room. Arthur could barely hold her gaze. The woman he had publicly humiliated stood there still in her cleaning uniform, but carrying a dignity that made his former arrogance look small and pitiful. You saved my life, he whispered. I've been trying to save your life for weeks, but you chose to humiliate me instead of listen. I know. Monica's voice choked. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but you're right. I'm not worthy. Monica pulled out a chair and sat down, keeping a respectful distance. I didn't save you for your sake. I saved you because I swore to protect life, and there are vows bigger than how we're treated by the people we save. Arthur's humiliation was just beginning. In the days that followed, the story spread far and wide. The billionaire CEO almost died from arrogance too great to heed the warnings of a cleaning woman, an ex-nurse who had recognized his symptoms weeks earlier. Sandra Phillips and James Morrison tried to cover up the scandal, but Natasha kept every copy of the messages they ignored and mocked about Monica's medical concerns. Recordings of meetings where they proposed firing her for misconduct went viral on social media. The media turned the case into a national symbol of discrimination in corporate environments. Black cleaning woman saves CEO who once despised her became the headline for weeks. Brooks Pharmaceuticals board called an emergency meeting. The company lost $300 million in market value in just 3 days, and Arthur was forced to step down temporarily as CEO for medical treatment and to review personnel policies. But the greatest humiliation came when Arthur learned Monica had refused every offer of compensation or paid interview. I don't want anyone's blood money, she told reporters. I want this to be a lesson. Competence and dignity don't depend on degrees or skin color. While Arthur recovered from surgery and endured weeks of physical therapy to regain motor coordination, Monica quietly returned to her cleaning duties. But now every employee at Brooks Pharmaceutical treated her with the respect she deserved. The man who spent his life looking down on those he deemed beneath him learned his lesson in the harshest way. His survival depended on the very people he once treated as invisible. And the whole world watched his humbling lesson unfold live on national television. But did Arthur truly learn it? And what became of the woman who proved she could rise above all prejudice? Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying someone, it's making them live with the truth that their existence owes everything to those they once scorned. 6 months later, Monica Washington received the National Hero Award from the U.S. Surgeon General at a ceremony broadcast nationwide. Her cleaning uniform, the very same that had once been mocked, was displayed in the National Museum of African American History with a plaque reading, "The uniform of the woman who proved competence has no color." Arthur Brooks sat in the front row, still occasionally needing his wheelchair due to lingering surgery effects. His hands trembled not from illness, but from emotion as he watched the woman he once humiliated finally honored as she deserved from the start. "Ladies and gentlemen," Monica said into the microphone, her voice echoing through the packed auditorium. "For 15 years, I was a nurse. For the past 5 years, I was treated as invisible. But today, I understand I never stopped being who I always was, a lifesaver, whether anyone recognized it or not." Brooks Pharmaceutical was forced to implement sweeping reforms after the scandal. Sandra Phillips and James Morrison were fired for discriminatory behavior, and the company launched a diversity program that became a national model. Ironically, the company's stock fully recovered once they demonstrated a genuine commitment to inclusion. Dr. Patricia Williams, now the medical director of the newly established Monica Washington Institute of Preventive Medicine, smiled from the audience. The institute, fully funded by a $10 million anonymous donation from Arthur Brooks, provides free medical training to underserved communities. "When that man told me to stay in my place," Monica continued, "he didn't realize my place has always been saving lives. He just couldn't overcome his own prejudice." Arthur tried to contact her multiple times during his recovery, but Monica kept her distance out of respect, not anger, but understanding that some lessons must be learned personally to truly take root. The public humiliation Arthur endured was brutal, but transformative. He lost friends' social standing and was forced to confront decades of unconscious arrogance. But he also gained something he'd never had before: genuine humility and respect for those he once dismissed. Revenge. Monica concluded her speech is not making someone pay for what they did to you. True revenge is becoming so great that their smallness can no longer touch you. The applause lasted 8 minutes. Arthur was among the first to stand, tears streaming down his cheeks. Later in the hallway, he finally had a brief moment alone with Monica. "I was such a fool," he said simply. "You definitely were," she agreed without hesitation. "But fools can learn if they're humble enough. Thank you for saving me, even though I didn't deserve it." "I didn't save you because you deserved it," Monica replied, adjusting the badge on her chest. "I saved you because some things are bigger than how we're treated, and because the best way to overcome prejudice is to prove our humanity is greater than the cruelty of others." Arthur nodded, knowing he would spend the rest of his life trying to earn the forgiveness he had been given. Today, Monica runs 3 community hospitals and trains doctors in advanced clinical observation techniques. Arthur has retired from business to dedicate himself fully to charity work, especially medical education programs for minority groups. 2 lives were saved that day, one from a brain aneurysm, the other from willful ignorance. The greatest revenge against those who underestimate us is not to destroy them, but to become so extraordinary that they spend the rest of their lives trying to understand how they were so blind. Monica proved that competence, dignity, and greatness do not depend on others' recognition, but rest solely on an unwavering commitment to be oneself. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel for more stories showing how our true power emerges when others try to bring us down.